All of our platforms of Happening Out Television Network will be reporting interesting news from one of the most important LGBTQ film festivals in the world. Here's a short preview about the festival. Watch this. This evening we feature the film T11 Incomplete. Kate Murphy lost everything when she hit rock bottom. Now 10 years sober, middle-aged, and living alone with her elderly cat, Kate strives to rebuild her broken life and repair her damaged relationship with her son, Jack. Barely making ends meet as visiting home health aide, Kate marches quietly through her uneventful days until she is assigned a young, beautiful paraplegic patient named Laura. Bonded by their mutual suffering, the two women share an undeniable connection, and it isn't long before they fall deeply in love. But when Kate betrays Laura's trust, her fragile world is shattered once again. Queer News Tonight welcomes the director, Suzanne Guausi, to the show. Suzanne, good evening.
Hi, Al. How are you?
Well, welcome. I'm doing great. Welcome to Queer News Tonight. Suzanne, tell us a little bit about this interesting film.
Well, the film sort of had its genesis when I wanted to write a story about a nurse and a disability, and I wasn't quite sure what kind of story I was going to write. I'm a disabled director myself, and I knew I wanted to tell some sort of disability story. So I've done a lot of research about different disabilities. I read Christopher Reeve's story, and I learned a little bit about quadriplegia and paraplegia. And when I read what a T11 Incomplete paraplegic meant, it sort of opened something inside me. And T11 Incomplete is an injury to your 11th thoracic vertebrae, but an incomplete paraplegic still has some feeling. They're not completely numb. So that sort of burst something open in me, and this is the story that came out about my nurse and disability.
Very interesting, because I don't think I have seen a story in the LGBTQ community like this that focuses on a love story in disability, and I didn't know that you had disability, so completely clear. I'm curious in terms of your participation in an independent film festival like OUTshine. OUTshine, one of the most important LGBTQ film festivals in the world. What's it been like this year in participating in a independent film festival like OUTshine, but it be COVID-19, and how it's had to reinvent itself, and thus your participation, you personally had to reinvent how you did it. What's that experience been like? It's
good and bad, I guess. You know, the festival circuit is such a fun and wonderful way to show your film in front of the audience that you make the movie for, and giving it live. There's nothing better than that. But so it's a little bittersweet that we have this film now when we can't actually share it with a live audience. But I'm so proud that OUTshine and all these other film festivals have come up with a way to still allow us to get our art out there and have an audience. And even though it's changed, and these platforms like what you're doing is just so wonderful for us, because if we didn't have them, I really don't know where we would be. So although it's quite what we wanted, we're still very, 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 very grateful.
Suzanne, it strikes me as I'm understanding the film. I haven't seen it yet. I'm going to, and as I hear you talk, there's an interesting commonality for me in that in disability, for you as the director, for your lead character in your film, there can be disadvantage. but the whole point of your direction and the film's story is overcoming the disadvantage. Isn't that exactly what you're facing this year in your film? Your film has disadvantage of COVID-19, but you're learning how to overcome it.
Absolutely. And I mean, and it's all of us, you know. I had a therapist long ago who said, we are all just temporarily able-bodied. And I feel very much that that is where we are in this world. We are all sort of suffering and halted until we're able to go through it together and get to the other side of this. But yeah, I mean, it actually is a definite parallel to what's going on in the world. And
yeah. You know, I'm also struck by your film and your direction of the film in that the LGBT community is made up of so many different segments in our community, and sometimes we consider ourselves misfits, and we collectively come together as one community in LGBTQ. How has the community collectively, all of this group of different individuals and personalities, how have they embraced a story and a film about LGBTQ using disability as the metaphor for love of community? How has the community responded to it, to your story?
it's been wonderful. We had a really good start to the festival back in to the festival circuit back in March, I guess, or February actually, when we had our world premiere, which at Clear Stream Mardi Gras in Australia. It was followed by Melbourne, and then it went to BFI Flair. But everything after Clear Stream got changed and halted. So, you know, you make a movie like this, which is very personal and made out of pure love and love for my actors, from my actors and my leading lady, Karen Silas, who is a dear friend of mine. But a movie like this is made out purely from love. So we didn't know when we put it out there what the response would be. And I have to say that the community has been so wonderful to us. We had a wonderful run that got halted, and now through OUTshine and OUTfest and things that are coming up next, we have sort of gained a little bit of momentum. I think they find something maybe a little different in the story, something like you said earlier, that just hasn't been seen yet. And they're embracing it, and I'm so grateful for the love of that. You know, disability is something that, you know, we all have something in this life that we're trying to overcome or work through, whether it's an emotional disability or a physical disability. But, you know, this movie sort of speaks for everybody who's suffering in one regard or another, and that there's hope. You know, there's hope and there's change and growth. And good things are on the horizon if you persevere.
My last question to you, Suzanne, and to the metaphor of what you just said, it's overcoming adversity. Your film and your story is overcoming the adversity and finding the sweet spot. That's exactly what everyone in the LGBT community is going through right now. We're overcoming the adversity of our losses in COVID-19, and your film becomes a metaphor for me. I'm curious. You did Sydney's Gay Mardi Gras and Melbourne. Those were in-person film festivals. They were still operating in February?
Mardi Gras started, and I believe, I don't even know, I think we did screen once. We had 2 screenings there, and we were supposed to go. My family and my partner, my wife, we were supposed to go to see our world premiere, and the wildfires had come right before, and then COVID came, and then I had a personal thing, so we wound up not going. But I don't even know that both, it was screened 2 times. I think it screened once, and then it was all shut down. Melbourne, I don't think went, and then BFI Flair didn't go either.
So my question to you is, T11 Incomplete is shown in a screen, and the interaction of people around you, and you have that experience to be in the theater. And now you have T11 Incomplete seen digitally in a whole different way. 300 people potentially sitting in a theater watching it versus thousands of watching it digitally through OUTshine Film Festival. As I said, one of the most important LGBT film festivals in the world. You've experienced it both ways now, in person as a filmmaker, as a director, in-person presentation. Now you've experienced this new concept of digital embracement of a film and film festival. So when we finish this for 2021, which do you prefer? In place, in person, or digitally? There's advantages and disadvantages to both.
There are. It's like live theater, you know. There's nothing better than an actual audience, but the reach, of course, is greater through the virtual world. So if there's a combination of everything, that would be my favorite.
Suzanne,
Right.
you are expressing one of our oldest jokes here at Queer News Tonight. Us LGBT, we want everything. Everything. Suzanne, what a pleasure talking to you. America, we draw your attention. The OUTshine Film Festival, one of the most important film festivals in the world for LGBT, an independent film festival. You want to make sure you see this really incredible film about overcoming of adversity in the LGBT community, and everyone will understand the metaphor of the adversity that is overcome in this film. And I also, on behalf of everyone at Happening Out Television Network, you have no greater obligation, in our opinion, to support 501c3 not-for-profit film festivals, which is what OUTshine is. No greater time ever in history in our community than now in 2020 because of COVID. Suzanne, we wish you all the luck in this film, T11 Incomplete. It's been a pleasure meeting you, and actually very inspiring to hear you speak and us be able to talk about the particular motivations of your film.
Thank you so much for having me. I truly appreciate it. God bless everybody.
Absolutely. Good night.